Hey everyone, welcome back to another recap, this time diving into sweet vitriol. In this episode, we get a closer look at Cobal's life after Lumen and the mysterious connections she still has in the town of Salt's Neck. Let's break it down. The episode opens with a glimpse into Cobal's current life. After her failed attempts to get her old job back at Lumen Industries, she's now living out of her small car, drifting around the isolated town of Salt's Neck during a harsh winter. It's a far cry from her days as the severed floor manager at Lumen. Meanwhile, at the Drippy Pot Cafe, Hampton, the waiter, or possibly the owner, chats with regulars about recent happenings in the area. He hands a covered bottle to one of his customers, which seems to contain an unconventional drug called diethyl ether, also known as sweet vitriol. The name hints at something mysterious and potentially dangerous. Hampton's quiet day takes a turn when Cobal walks into the cafe and orders a coffee. Her presence immediately changes the atmosphere, and it's clear the two know each other well. Hampton isn't thrilled to see her, but he can't ignore her either. When Cobal asks him to meet her at the old Lumen factory in town, he reluctantly agrees. At the factory, Hampton's hate for Lumen becomes obvious. As it turns out, he and Cobal were once colleagues. Both worked for Lumen in the past. But unlike Cobal, Hampton is now an outspoken critic of the company. He left because he refused to be part of what he describes as child labor for the multinational corporation, which explains his deep contempt for his former workplace. Cobal has a specific reason for reaching out to Hampton. She needs his help to visit Sissy's house for something important. Worried that Lumen might be watching her car, she asks Hampton to drive her there in his truck. Hampton tries to talk her out of it, but Cobal is determined to go through with her plan. With Hampton's help, Cobal finally arrives at the house of Celestine Sissy, a devout Christian. While the episode doesn't spell out their relationship, it's clear from their interactions that Sissy is much older than Cobal, suggesting she might be Cobal's aunt. This theory fits with how Sissy talks about Cobal's mother, who she refers to as her sister. The reunion between Cobal and Sissy is anything but warm. Both women seem uneasy around each other, and it doesn't take long for their tension to boil over. Cobal is furious when she discovers that Sissy has given away her belongings. This sparks a heated argument, with Cobal accusing Sissy of overstepping and Sissy defending her actions, likely citing her religious values or a sense of practicality. The fight highlights the strained relationship between the two women, with years of unresolved issues bubbling to the surface. Cobal's frustration isn't just about her belongings, it's about feeling disconnected from her family and her past. Meanwhile, Sissy's actions suggest she's moved on in ways Cobal hasn't, creating a rift between them. Cobal is back in her childhood home, determined to find something significant. However, her mother's room is locked, and Sissy holds the key. This leads to another tense confrontation between the two. Cobal accuses Sissy of being the one who pulled the plug on her mother, but Sissy defends herself, saying she was only trying to end her sister's suffering and free her from immense pain. Despite the tension, Cobal eventually finds the key to her mother's room. Inside, she discovers the medical equipment that once kept her mother alive. In a deeply emotional moment, Cobal connects an air pipe to the machine and breathes through it, just as her mother did before her passing. This act feels like a desperate attempt to connect with her mother one last time. Overwhelmed by grief, Cobal lies down on her mother's bed and cries, allowing herself to fully feel the pain she's been carrying. It's a rare moment of vulnerability for the usually stoic former Lumen employee. Meanwhile, Hampton checks in on her, bringing a bottle of what appears to be sweet vitriol. The two share the unconventional drug, using it to relax and escape their troubles, even if just for a moment. As the effects of the sweet vitriol take hold, Coble refocuses on her mission. She's convinced her mother wouldn't have thrown away anything important, and this belief leads her to an underground storage space near the house. What she finds there could hold the key to her past, and possibly her future. Coble's meticulous search through her childhood home finally pays off when she discovers an award she received as a Wintertide Fellow, the same fellowship Seth Milchick mentioned while warning Miss Huang. This award connects her to her time as a student at the Myrtle Egan School for Girls. But the real treasure lies inside the bust, a notebook Coble considers invaluable. She rushes back to Sissy and reveals the notebook, which contains the foundational ideas for the Severance program, including procedures like the overtime contingency protocol and the Turkish block. Coble drops a bombshell. The Egans didn't create the Severance program, they stole it from her. She claims she developed the program decades ago as a young girl, long before Lumen officially launched it. This revelation stuns Sissy, a loyal beneficiary of Lumen. In a desperate attempt to protect the Egans' reputation, Sissy tries to snatch the notebook and burn it, but Coble fights back, clinging to the evidence of her groundbreaking work. This discovery also sheds light on the true age of the Severance program, contradicting the popular belief that it was established only 12 years ago. This timeline aligns with Fields' claim in the 6th episode of the 2nd season that he partnered with Burt Goodman around 20 years ago, hinting at a much longer history of the program. As if the tension weren't high enough, a mysterious car appears in the area. Hampton rushes to warn Coble that people are after her. Knowing that Mr. Drummond has already visited the house once, Coble realizes the Egans are closely monitoring her. She pleads with Sissy to keep her visit a secret, but Sissy refuses, stating she can't lie to Lumen's representatives. In a heartbreaking moment, Sissy reveals that Coble's mother removed her own life support with her own hands. But Coble doesn't have time to process this emotional revelation. She quickly gets into Hampton's car and drives away, clutching her notebook. As she speeds toward an undisclosed location, Coble finally answers a call from Devon's scout. Devon informs her that her brother, Mark, has undergone the reintegration procedure. While Coble is slightly annoyed by this turn of events, she's also intrigued. She asks Devon to explain everything in detail, signaling that Mark's actions might play a crucial role in what's to come. And there you have it. Coble's discoveries about the Severance program's origins and Mark's reintegration set the stage for even bigger revelations. What will Coble do with her notebook, and how will Mark's actions impact the fight against Lumen? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more recaps. See you in the next episode.